Sounds right. Sounds right. Sounds right. Sounds right. Soundstripe.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Devahntau Colonel, and welcome to another episode of the Inspired Challenge podcast. Now, today we're going to be diving into a crucial topic, and that is how to build resiliency in the face of struggles. Now, resiliency is the ability to bounce back from setbacks and keep moving forward. And it's a trait that can be cultivated through both a secular and a biblical approach. Today, we'll be exploring practical tips that are supported by studies, specific Bible verses, and inspiring examples from both secular and biblical perspectives. Let's go ahead and jump straight into it. Now, when it comes to secular tips for building resiliency, we start with number one, developing a positive mindset. Now, a major tip would be to focus on positive thinking and reframing negative situations. Now, to go a little bit deeper on this, positive thinking involves an optimistic outlook that helps you face adversity with a mindset that focuses on solutions rather than problems. Everyone knows of the person that always looks at the glass half empty instead of half full. They see the problem but don't provide any solutions. Cognitive behavioral techniques such as challenging negative thoughts can be very effective against this. Now, there was a research study published in the Journal of Abnormal Psychology, which suggests that positive thinking can lead to lower levels of depression, better stress management, and healthier cardiovascular health. Hey, we love some extra cardiovascular health. Let's go. So an example of this would be that Michael Jordan, widely regarded as one of the greatest basketball players of all time, was cut from his high school varsity team. And rather than giving up, he used this setback as motivation to improve, eventually leading him to an illustrious NBA career. His positive mindset and determination to overcome obstacles is well documented, and you can easily go and see his journey for yourself. Now, the next step in building resiliency is to build strong relationships. Excuse me. A major tip for this would be to cultivate a support network of family, friends, and mentors. Now, let's go deeper on this. Relationships will provide you more emotional support that are crucial during tough times. Building and maintaining, that's the key, is maintaining these relationships requires effort such as regular communication and showing appreciation. Also, C, learning the different love languages of these people that you're engaging with. Many people make the mistake of thinking that the love languages is something that is meant to be used only in a relationship sense, but no, they can certainly be useful for showing love in a proper form to your individual friends and family members. Now, a study published in Health Psychology found that people with strong social connections are happier, healthier, and live longer. And we all know that one of the biggest things that we look for is to how can we live a longer, healthier, and happier life. So an example of someone with strong relationships is someone like Steve Jobs. He was the co-founder of Apple, and he faced numerous professional setbacks, including being ousted from his own company. Imagine that. Throughout these challenges, though, he maintained strong relationships with key mentors and supporters who provided the advice and encouragement that he needed to return to Apple and lead it to unprecedented success. Build your strong relationships. They are key to you. Now, next up, we have practicing self-care. A major tip for this would be to prioritize your physical and mental health through regular exercise, a balanced diet, and adequate sleep. Let's go a little bit deeper now. Self-care involves activities that reduce stress and enhance short and long-term health and well-being. The American Psychological Association notes in their publication on stress management that self-care strategies can help reduce stress, improve concentration, and minimize frustration and anger. An example of this would be LeBron James, who prioritizes his physical and mental health through a rigorous training regimen, a balanced diet, and ensuring he gets sufficient rest. Now, his commitment to self-care has helped him maintain peak performance and manage the pressure of a high-profile career. Meanwhile, most of us can't even manage the pressure of a low-profile social media. Why? Because we don't prioritize our physical and mental health. All right, let's continue. Now, these have been 3 tips in the secular sense of how to build resiliency. Now, for my Christian folk, this is going to be 3 tips on building tips for resiliency based off of biblical principles. The first one is trusting in God's plan. The big tip here is to have faith that God has a plan for you, even when the times are tough. Trusting in God's plan means believing that there is a higher purpose to life, providing comfort and a sense of purpose during difficult times. A couple of Bible verses that go hand in hand with this idea are the following. The Lord is my strength and my shield. My heart trusts in him, and he helps me. My heart leaps for joy, and with my song I praise him. From Psalm 28, verse 7. Another one would be, commit to the Lord whatever you do, and he will establish your plans. From Proverbs 16:3. Someone that we can look at from a biblical stance who embodies these verses would be Joseph in the Bible, who faced betrayal, slavery, and imprisonment. But he remained faithful to God. And eventually, he rose to become the second most powerful man in Egypt. Feel free to see Genesis 37 through 50 for that story. And Joseph's unwavering faith and resilience are a testament to the power of trusting in God's plan. Now, for reference, many people trust in their GPS more than they trust in God's plan. And then it's not until you find yourself making a left turn and then a right turn into a lake that you finally begin to doubt the GPS. But you see, God's plan is better than a GPS that hasn't been updated since 2016. God's plan, his word, is a living and breathing plan for you. And his advice and wisdom are timeless to you. The second element, the second tip towards building resiliency is seeking strength through prayer. So the big takeaway here is to turn to prayer for comfort and guidance. We know that a way that we can all turn to prayer, comfort, what we can seek for comfort and guidance can sometimes be elements such as food. It can be another person. It can be a certain vice. However, here we want to genuinely look at turning to prayer. Prayer is a way to communicate with God, seek his guidance, and to find his peace. Bible verses that help support this. The Lord is near to all who call on him, to all who call on him in truth. Psalm 145, verse 18. Another verse is, do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, present your requests to God. Someone from the Bible that embodies this is Daniel, who was thrown into the lion's den for his faith. He prayed consistently and trusted in God, and he was miraculously saved. Check out Daniel chapter 6. Daniel's reliance on prayer and faith in God's protection exemplify how prayer can fortify resilience. Now, continuing on, we go to the third tip when it comes to biblical ways to build resiliency, and that is to embrace community and fellowship. So, the big point for this is that you want to be leaning on your church community for support and encouragement. Going a little bit deeper, we'll say that the church community offers mutual support, encouragement, and accountability, which is crucial for resilience and spiritual growth. Notice that word, mutual support, encouragement, accountability, which is crucial for resilience and spiritual growth. Not a one-sided, you go and you are take, but you're also giving as well. A couple of verses that support this are as follows. For where 2 or 3 gather in my name, there am I with them. Matthew 18:20. Another is, and let us consider how we may spur one another on toward love and good deeds, not giving up meeting, as some are in the habit of doing, but encouraging one another, and all the more as you see the day approaching. Hebrews 10:24 through 25. Now, an example of these verses would be the early Christians, as described in Acts 2, verses 42 through 47, supported one another through communal living and shared resources, and they were helping each other withstand persecution and hardships. And this sense of community and mutual support was crucial for their resilience and spiritual growth. Now, when it comes to the idea of combining the secular and the biblical approach, here's our takeaway. Combining these strategies can provide a holistic approach to building resiliency. Cultivating a positive mindset, building strong relationships, and practicing self-care can work equally with trusting in God's plan, seeking strength through prayer, and embracing community to create a robust framework for enduring and thriving through life's challenges. Now, let's really drive home the point of resiliency. It is a vital trait that helps us to navigate life's challenges. And by integrating practical tips with spiritual guidance, you can build a foundation of strength and endurance. That is, in a nutshell, how you can build up resiliency 3 ways, biblically as well as secularly. Now, I can see here it is, how long have we been going? Wow, this might be one of my quickest live streams ever, but I do think that's going to be all for tonight. Resiliency is something that, as we continue in the world, we see that people are becoming more and more swayed by people's emotions, by people's words, by what they see on the news. And when that happens, it can become very easy to allow some of these pillars that were mentioned for building resiliency. It can become very easy not to trust in God's plan when you have strong emotions that want to pull you away. It can become very easy to not focus on building out your community when you're not even sure who's for you and who's against you. It can be easy to not have a positive mind frame when you're constantly ingesting polarizing content from the news, from friends with a negative mindset, or from social media where you may be either constantly comparing yourself or you may be constantly berated with either negative images or negative instruments that are meant to make you feel insecure. The resilience that you build must start with in-person and positive frameworks. There are pockets of the internet where positivity can be built. However, it is the minority and not the majority in there. And it takes a strong focus and intentionality to find these pockets of the internet where the positive frameworks can be set and that they can completely be what guides that space. Many positive frameworks do not have enough personnel to continue, and many people give up on trying to foster these positive frameworks in light of fostering negative frameworks, because negativity gets people's attention so much more than positivity does. That's why you will see on the news, there will be 55 minutes of all of these negative events that occur. And then there will be a 5-minute section where something good happens. Intentional effort by the news to stir up discomfort in its audience, to rile up the emotions, and to get you moving in a direction where you feel like it's you guys and those who have similar ideals against those guys who have differing ideals. Instead, the focus needs to be on where are my people around with the same values, and how can we build up our relationships together, foster this encouragement, live communally where we are providing and connecting for and with each other, building each other up in the spirit, building each other up in positivity, building each other up by connecting resources together. When you can surround yourself with 4 to 5 other people who understand resiliency and the different traits listed out here, your small framework of people plus yourself can become the catalyst that is necessary to ignite a fire that can begin to spread within your local area. You can become the movers of a local area. And an amazing example of this that I would love to point out is the fact that recently at my church, there were the middle schoolers and the high schoolers who went out into a camp environment. At this camp environment, there were 200 plus students. They went out for days with leaders accompanying them. All of these people were fully connected into a same goals, same mind, same value set. Upon returning from that experience, these individuals, even those who were unexcited about it, returned, and because they were honed in on a specific thing for 3 to 4 days with no distractions, no social media, no video games, no anything that could take away from the aim, which was to get closer to God and to foster community and belief and support and relationship with each other. When they returned, the amount of brotherhood and sisterhood and teacher to student relationship that had evolved from that communal experience was palpable. It was impossible to be in the room without noticing the significant difference between both, not just the students, but the leaders as well. A number of leaders gave the comments that, wow, as much as I wanted to go and lead them and teach them, I learned something from the students just as much, if not more, as what they learned through me. Many people think that young people are uninterested. Young people don't have a care for fostering deeper beliefs, having deeper conversations, showing love on each other. However, that's not the case. The truth is, most young people are just distracted. When you take a young person and you put them in environments of positivity and love and focus and intentionality and leadership and encouragement, these young people run. They don't just slightly, hesitantly go towards it. They run towards the positivity, towards the love, towards the encouragement, because we as people desire these things. We all want to be around goodness, but we have a society that pushes you to not be resilient, to give into the demands of whether it's a work boss, whether it's a teaching person, whether it's a ideal that we don't even get enough resources to understand. We are made to be pushed towards that. And if people can take themselves into a space as previously described, I think the results would shock many of them. So I know it's getting close to 12 o'clock. I think we made pretty good time on this. I wanted to hop on and off real quick. So I want to thank anyone that was able to come on, hang out, watch for a little bit. Anybody that comes and watches this on the playback end, thank you so much for that. I hope that this has been able to be concise, pungent, helpful, and if there is any desire to see another version of this, a part 2 of building resiliency past what I mentioned here, I would love to receive that feedback, and I will certainly look at going and making a part 2 here. Until then, I have been your host, Devahntau Colonel, coming in at 11:30 at night, finishing up right around 12 o'clock. Thank you for coming on and watching, and make sure to tune in tomorrow on Monday. I have an interview with a man who is an immigrant, and coming in, he had to pretty much figure out how to make American culture work for him. So make sure to join in for that. I am excited, and I hope that everyone has a great sleep. And I'll see you guys on the next episode of the Inspired Challenge podcast. Take care, everyone.